In 2016 we got Pokemon Sun, a brand new installment in the Pokemon series. Needless to say, it was a worldwide hit and praised by fans and critics. I personally didn't think the game was as good as previous Pokemon games, but it was still something fresh and enjoyable to play. They tried to take focus more on story and characters rather than the challenge, which is a good concept but executed poorly, but still it was serviceable. But then, something happened at Game Freak. A monster took over the company. And then this fucking abomination was released. This Pokemon Ultra Sun.
Talk to corporate, approve memos, lead a workshop, remember.
Before I shit on this game, I want to give props to it for a few things. First, the scenery is pleasing as always and simply beautiful at times. Few features like the photo shooting. It also had totem stickers which you can collect around the islands, which is neat collectibles that you get priced every 20 to get. The minigames are extremely fun, my favorite being the Lunali/Solgaleo flying game. The character customization is still just as enjoyable, and soundtrack is just as good if not better than the songs. And that's about it for the good side. Now time for the shit.
What we're gonna do is this. First we pitch them Disney. Once we've suckered them in, we unload the dog shit.
Okay, so here's the biggest issue with Pokemon Ultra Sun. Imagine Pokemon Sun. And that's it, that's a fucking game. Who the fuck thought it was a good idea to copy and paste the exact same game and sell it again for $40? It took away the best part about Pokemon Sun, which was it being fresh and new. Since this game is the exact as Sun, it isn't fresh anymore and it's just stale. The layout of the game is exactly the same. Yes, it has a fancy new user interface, but routes and cities are exactly the same. All characters are also the exact same, and even with the exact same lines. Hao is still just as obnoxious, Glady is still Infinite 0.5, Kukui is still a husband, and Lee is still the same puss as always. And that's pretty much it. The only new characters are Dose and Suzy, which in all honesty are the best part of this game. They're actually interesting and the battles with those were fun. Also, there's absolutely no fucking reason for it to be two different games. Believe it or not, but after the final battle, Dose allows the player to select which legendary they want. That's fucking nonsense. Ever since Gold and Silver, each game had their own legendary, giving each game a different reward for completion, making them unique and different. In Ultra Sun, it just gives you the one you want regardless of which game you own, making the whole point of two games make no fucking sense.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Here's the session with big spoilers, not that it matters. Anyways, the plot in this game is that basically the same as Pokemon Sun. Troubled family, mom's a bitch, son's edgy, daughter's an absolute pussy. But Dose and Suzy are travelers from another world, helping Luzamine defeat the legendary interdimensional Pokemon, the Crossman, from taking away the light from Alola like he did Dose's world. How could they possibly fuck up such plots? Well, have you ever played Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon? You know, whenever your character mentions the sun getting closer, or someone randomly freaks out about Pokemon turning to rock, but you only get to see these things in detail later on in the game. Well, that's basically it. In Mystery Dungeon, it worked because it was making a huge build up to something big and the payoff was great. In Ultra Sun, it works against itself. Every time Dose and Suzy shows up talking about their world on the Crossman, it's so short or so brief that it ends up being just dull. The build up is there, but it isn't big enough to make excitement for what's to come. For example, throughout the game, Dose talks about what the Crossman is and what is after. But the problem is, since it's so brief and short, it doesn't make a build up. So when you actually see the Crossman, it's only a punch without a charge. And that's the problem with this game's story. It's just a huge punch in the gut with a lot of repeated story from Sun with a barely serviceable ending.
I give my life, not for honor, but for you.
Pop quiz! For every 30 minutes of Metal Gear Solid cutscene, how much time did you get in return for gameplay? Around an hour or so. Now, For every 10 minutes of cutscene in Ultra Sun, how much time did you get in return for gameplay? That's right! 10 seconds. That's the stupidest shit possible. Even in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, when you watch a long 20 minutes cutscene, you get about 20 up to 30 minutes of gameplay, if not more. In Ultra Sun, I watch a 10 minutes cutscene, take 2 steps forward, and it's a cutscene again. How is that supposed to be fun? Also, every cutscene has so many fade effects that it becomes obnoxious. There's a 1 minute long cutscene that had a total of 3 fade effects. Pokemon has never once been about the story. It was always about the challenge overcoming everyone to become the very best like no one ever was. Meanwhile in this one you'll be breaking the popcorn eating record of how long you'll be sitting your ass and watching shit happen. Maybe it would be fun if it was new. 90% of the cutscenes in the game are literally line by line the exact same from Pokemon Sun. It ends up being boring, annoying, and with characters like Howlemix, it ends up making me regret buying the game. Hell, I even thought I bought a hacked version of Sun at first. And just to make it worse, you cannot ever move freely. For example, in Pokemon Black you have to defeat Team Plasma, but you can't keep up with becoming the champion as your top priority. Yes, you have to defeat them no matter what, since that's what makes the game progress. But it wasn't an obstacle, it was an objective. Meanwhile in Ultra Sun, it's always forcing you to go wherever it wants to take you, making the story a chore rather than an engaging plot. Having to be forced to go around these cutscenes felt like playing the scout that does nothing but push the cart. So here's the deal with the battles. They're a fucking joke. You're not overcoming anything. Even a fast Ponycaon, which is basically champion role, is a joke. Their Pokemons are so easy to fight and they always have either 1 or 2 at their disposal, making them obstacles and not challenges. I'm gonna start off with what to me is the biggest issue, the rival battles. In the very first 40 minutes of the game, you meet Hao at around 30 minutes, and from there, you had 2 battles against him. I couldn't even fucking believe when I realized that in under 10 minutes, you fight twice your rival. Let's go back to 2011, when Pokemon Black was the hottest shit. Do you know why N is my favorite rival? Because besides him being interesting and amazingly developed character, his battles weren't just another battle. They were a test of strength of what you as a trainer and your Pokemon were capable of. The final battle against N was the most epic battle in Pokemon in my opinion, mainly because it wasn't just a simple battle. They were designing the future of each and every single Pokemon in Nova and trainers. And the build-up was great, getting to know N, learning his motivation and understanding his conflict. Meanwhile your rivals Zero, Hao and Gladion are far too underdeveloped. Hao is nothing but happy and obnoxious, his battles aren't even a test of strength, they're just yet another trainer. And Gladion is only a freak out at you, which is a pity since the design of the two has incredible potential. We had a pretentious and obnoxious prick before, and he's still one of my favorite characters in Pokemon. But even Blue had a great development back in the original. He starts off as obsessed cunt, but in the end he's beaten down to second place and Access, being the second best trainer. That's the greatness of the rivals in the games. They're the ultimate challenge, not a chore. Also, guess who's the champion? That's right, it's Hao. I can't even begin how wrong this is. You see, Hao is not a well-developed character. He starts off as a happy guy obsessed with defeating his grandpa. In the end, he's nothing more than a happy guy obsessed with defeating his grandpa. He's an okay character, but comparing him to all of the other final battles we've had in Pokemon, isn't nearly as good at characters like Blue or Red. Besides, Kukui was perfect on the final battle role. Yes, from start to finish he's the exact same, but his development happens through learning his backstory and how he nearly became champions. That's something, not the best, but certainly better than Hao. It does have a dialogue that has a strong punch, but just like the rest, it's just a punch without its charge.
I got Reese's Puffs in my bowl. Nowadays on cruise control.
In conclusion, the game is nothing more than an addition to Sun's story, which could have been simply an update or a DLC, or Pokemon Eclipse, like many would have loved, with a Crossman being the legendary. That would have been amazing, but even though most of the game is awful and nothing but pandering, there are great things. For instance, the final boss battle is awesome and I enjoyed every second of it. It wasn't emotional as Sun's Luminous final form or Reshiram, but it was definitely enjoyable and challenging. Although it may be because I have the level 100 team, I do understand what Game Freak is going for in here. They're trying to implement the Pokémon's Mystery Dungeon formula into the main games. But there's a reason why it works for Mystery Dungeon perfectly, but not for Ultra Sun. It's because Mystery Dungeon was forged in the platform of telling story and exploring, making the characters the main factor. Meanwhile, in Ultra Sun, it's an addition to a platform with the challenge being the main factor and story only being an extra flavor. That format worked perfectly in games like Pokemon Black, Alpha Sapphire, and even Heart Gold, but they tried making the story the main dish and the challenge the dessert, which doesn't work in Pokemon games.
Go for it.